Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? We're gonna do an evening show instead of a late evening show. Okay, that looks good. Let me get this over here.
Can't wait to get that tough time. That won't even be satisfying. It never is when they just talk shit about you for like a week, and then you beat him things talking shit about, and then he just...
You don't have to worry about
very
that.
Good.
Dan's not going to be at the top for long. I'll handle that. After Mario Party.
Beating you is definitely more fun. It clearly bothers you.
Oh,
beating
yeah,
you
for sure.
Is fun.
Yep.
Yeah,
well, I mean,
it's not fun.
I've seen Dan bothered by it, actually, so it's possible.
Thank God.
It's possible. Yes, I just want to make sure we were streaming during the Guardians game, yeah. Just help out our boy Mike. Keep him distracted.
Is that happening now? I thought that was at 8 for some
It
reason.
probably is a little bit later. It's usually starting at 6. Okay, let's see here.
Oh, that is happening. I was wrong. Let's see. Please be winning. Oh my God, we're winning.
Oh, really? It's already happening, huh?
103. Oh, please, we gotta win these.
Both games tonight or something? Maybe they're okay. Okay.
It'd be so big if we could win one here. Then we go in tomorrow, and then it's just 2 and 2 again. And like,
right. Win all your games at home, and then go to game 7. Like, yeah.
Well,
okay.
We'd have to win all our games at home, and then we have 3 at home. Then we have to win 2.
Wait, no,
in New York. 2, 3, 2.
Yeah, yeah. So if you win all your games at home, then you just win 1 in New York. It's a full best of 7, right?
2.
4 games. You gotta win 4 games.
Right. So we have to win both of the home games.
No,
all
you
3 home games.
You 3 home games.
Right.
Yeah. 3 games at home, and then you win the one.
Right.
Win game 7 in New York. There you are. You're good. All right.
But 2.
You do the math while I get this show going.
There's definitely.
Okay.
I'm so nuts. I believe you. Absolutely. This isn't a you problem. This is me being bad at math. Because I'm like, but it's 2, 3, and that's 7.
Yeah. So in my scenario.
I get it. We don't let them win any games is the thing. They could win 1 game, and we could still have that second game be game 7. I see where I was missing the problem.
Well, right. Because you were already in such a you can't lose this game. You're right. You can't lose this one tonight. No way. That's bad. You don't want to go down 0-3. That's only been like once or twice in baseball.
Yeah, against us. No, I know about it. It's always against us.
That's right. Yes.
I remember. All right. So I'm well aware that it can happen at least.
Okay, let's see. I don't think I ever tweeted.
Put it in the Discord. They didn't call him out, did they? Let's see, what do they call Ramirez here? Oh God, he might be out actually. I don't know. It's like Bang Bang. What do they call it? I think they called him safe. The Yankees are challenging it. We'll see. Might be too close. Might be too close to overturn it. Kind of a bang bang play there. Gotta crack this window further open.
Okay, let's see. Let me turn off this. Go here.
Gosh, that angle's not really helping. God, it's so close.
Like, do you hear that?
Yes, sir.
Chad, I know it was quiet for you, but it's fixed now. Okay. I think we're good. I just gotta make sure. I'm just gonna start recording now. Well, no, I'll remember. Okay. Famous last words. Mikey, I am ready to go. How about you?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get this show on the road. We are going to go live in 5, 4, 3. The internet, you're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the Game Mess Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything about the world of games so you never have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb, and with me is
Mike Minotti.
In today's episode, I didn't update this. There's going to be a Control spinoff. There's that Analog 3D, EGM compendium. I got a little game that I'm going to make Mike play. It'll be kind of a debate thing. It's fun. We'll get to all of that very soon. But first, Mike Minotti, how are you doing?
pretty good. Guardians have a rare run lead over the Yankees right now. Keep that up. I'm going to tomorrow's game.
Yes,
actually,
I'm excited for you. Especially if they win tonight, that'll be great. And I think if they win tonight, I think that's going to set them up real nice to have a good comeback in this series. So, yep, good luck to them. But can I talk about that? I've made some tactical errors today.
Please.
So I did game mess, and then I did game mess late because I had an appointment, a virtual appointment for Emmy this morning that took 2 hours. So I was on a call for 2 hours this morning. Then immediately got game mess ready in like a half an hour, and I did game mess, and then I might have taken a little break, but then I was like, I'll just stream some Astrobot, and then I did voicemail dump truck. Now I'm doing this, and then we do Mario Party at 9 p.m. tonight. I've not planned out my day in the most optimal fashion.
Have you eaten?
I had a breakfast sandwich this morning, so I remember doing that.
Maybe order yourself a pizza or something.
I would like to eat again. Steph is going to make soup here pretty soon, so I'm going to eat.
Go.
I'll get
soup
it.
Season.
She's going to make a big soup season.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hearty soup. But yes, I'll probably get another snacky snack during Mario Party.
I was surprised to see you on the dump truck.
Yeah, I was like, what was I thinking? I should have just told. I had like Nikki sit. Nikki was right there, and it was too late to swap anyone out. I was like, okay, you know what? I'll just show up. I'll do it. But it was a good time for me. I don't think it's going to be a good time for anyone listening.
It was a bad time for me. I was targeted a lot by stuff. I wasn't even on the show.
It's just like, you're just disappointing us, Mike. You're letting us down.
I'm like 1 second behind you guys right now.
Yeah, you are playing now. Yeah. It took me a second to like really figure this stuff out. Like Dan had a head start on me. I'm like, man, he's really far ahead. And then I was like, okay, got close, was able to beat him, and then immediately he's
It's not a 24-hour challenge. Don't worry.
Yeah,
it's fine.
We have all week, because there's not going to be a new level. And in Astrobot is what we're talking about, everybody. The speedrun level came out there 9 a.m. this morning. Of course, that is right when that appointment started for Emmy. So it's like, kind of like, darn it, well, I'm here. I'm a grown man complaining about that. But got in there for a little bit between some shows today, and then we did stream it. And that was a fun time. It was good just hang out while we're playing the game. I like those kinds of streams. I want to kind of do more of them.
Yeah, I might even just stream a little bit of it after this and before we start the Mario Party at 9 p.m. Eastern.
I gotta take out the trash too. I gotta make So we gotta get this show done. Yeah. So say your last thing, and then we're gonna start it.
Last thing.
Okay. Let's explain what we do here. It's not what I say on this show. Thank you for joining us. Give us a good rating wherever you are listening. Hit that like button on YouTube. It helps people find the show. If you want to ask a question, you can drop a super chat during the show here on YouTube. We'd really appreciate that. We'll get to all of those before the end of the program. Thank you to Carlos Ayin, who is Insane in the Rain Music on YouTube, for the use of our theme songs. Thanks to 1UP vs. CPU for our artwork. You can find more at 1UpVersusCPU.com. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and wherever pods are caught. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to Christian for producing. He's actually dealing with a blackout right now, so he's not here right now. I got to send this audio to him later. You can get more from Mike and me and support us by going to patreon.com/GameMess. That gets you access to our Discord servers, participation in Q&A sessions and our Game Club discussions, early access to new episodes of Game Mess Jeopardy and Columbros, and of course, all of our shows ad-free. Friendly reminder, you can also become a supporter by becoming a YouTube member or Twitch subscriber. So when Mike goes to stream tonight, go take your Prime sub, go there, give it to him. Just do it tonight, everybody, when he's streaming.
Give it to me. Yeah, I'm not like Jan. I will not mind it if you give me money.
Man, that's a good bit. Just annoying someone by giving them $5. How do you manage that, huh?
I wanted to Venmo him so bad, but he was asking so nicely for people to not send him money.
Yeah,
like,
if we were not on air when I did it, I wouldn't have done it.
Well,
but
my problem is like I want to just actually give him money, but he's like, I have to like return it or donate to charity. I'm like, no, just go
just spend it. We want you to have $5. Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
Buy a record player. I don't know. Go get some money.
I gave you money.
We all deserve a little treat or windfall every now and then.
Yeah,
it's just a man's birthday, for God's sake.
Big topics of the week. We talked over that Xbox thing. Thanks for coming to do that on Giant Bomb, Mike. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Do I want to be gracious? I don't know. You said some pretty upsetting things during that.
Oh, okay. Look, here's. I get that you like. Everyone thinks I'm working because I do that a lot. Where I'm like, oh, Dan's saying something funny and it's annoying you. I want to get on this. I am not doing that here.
Oh, don't be clear. I I believe that you think that Eden Zero, the anime game from Konami they showed during it, looks indistinguishable from Metaphor Refantasio to you.
That's what Dan said. You're okay. It's not indistinguishable. I when I'm playing Metaphor and I'm looking at the characters, I'm like, these look a lot like most anime characters, and I find that unmoving for the most part. Now, I'm sure I'm not very far in. I bet there will be some character designs that like get my goat or whatever. Because I feel pretty similar to recent Fire Emblem games. And then eventually I'm like, I find a couple characters. I'm like, this character's good. I like that. That's working for me. So I bet the same thing will happen here. But I think I'm personally just not that enthralled by the standard anime aesthetic that I feel like Metaphor is working with. And I feel like
I know what you're saying. I think calling it look, I'm not saying that it's some amazing stylized thing. I think it's a noticeable step above standard.
Yes. That is a word I am using almost certainly incorrectly. This is a gut reaction from someone who doesn't consume a lot of anime. I know I think it's mostly a me problem, sure, but it is for shoot how I feel. I don't know what to do about that.
Bad. I feel bad about it. No, I'm joking.
That definitely, yeah. You and Jan were actually mad, so yeah.
The fact that, I'm at you all the time. I think the fact that Jan was mad at you should tell you how disappointing this take is. Do you like the way the Persona games look?
Yes.
Yes. I do. That's interesting.
Yes, I think. I guess I think I don't love Joker's design, but some of those, like in Persona 5 specifically, I think some of the characters are like really cool looking. So yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe I like fantasy. I think. You
don't like the fairy?
I think no. You know what? I don't know if I like the fairy. I don't know. I don't dislike her. I just think like again, it's like, is that all you got? That's how I feel in this moment.
When you get the red hair lady in your party, if you don't like her, then we have a problem.
I remember. Yes, I think you guys mentioned her before. And I've not gotten
Hulkenberg, and then let me know what you think.
Okay, I think that's a fair barometer at that point.
You just wish that. Yeah, that's right. You just wish that it had a penis and a chariot, don't you?
Yeah. There's no penis monsters yet. What the hell?
There are no penis monsters yet. You haven't seen the humans.
I'll give them some time. Sorry for upsetting you. It's just my truth, and I got to speak my truth.
It's okay. I'll let it go, I guess. I'm sure something new will upset me. No, you know what? It's my fault. I'm getting too upset at you. There was that, and then there was you're playing that one mini game, and not Infinite Crisis. I always do that too. Incredible Crisis.
Yep.
It's like, which way is people am I controlling? I was like, obviously that one, Jeff. And I'm like, it's like he doesn't see things the way I do, even though I know you don't see things the way that I do. It's a lack of empathy.
It is. It's very funny though, because my kids will watch these YouTube videos where it's basically that, where it's like, here is a bunch of rows and columns of smiley faces, and there will be one obvious one that is different, and it'll be like obvious, but it's still subtle, equivalent to how subtle the difference was here, and they immediately get it. Like they're 5 and 7. So, for me, definitely processing issues, which was like always like, oh man, yeah, maybe that's not so much example. That was me just not seeing the thing. But a lot of that stuff, it's like I'll get the instructions, I'll read them out loud, and I have to read stuff multiple times for it to actually sink in my brain. And it's like, it was pretty obvious during that stream multiple times. I'm like, oh yeah, I just didn't process that thing I just read. So, but hey, Incredible Crisis. That was a good time. Really enjoyed that game. A lot of fun.
I was so happy to finally get you to play that one. So that was also up on Giant Bomb now, where, yes, at a Blight Club, we did a Delight Club. Incredible Crisis is like probably the best example of a hidden gem ever.
Yeah.
To the point where I think quite a few people do know about it now. But it's basically like, it's like a predecessor to WarioWare in a lot of ways. Not in every way, but definitely in terms of tone and in the fact that you're kind of playing a lot of mini games in a sequence. So it's very, very good stuff. It's one of those games that you almost kind of can't believe it did get localized in the PS1 era.
Yep.
But it did.
Anyway, we watched that Xbox we did a Xbox talkover. Yep, the games were partner showcase games. They're mostly held up by Remedy. They showed the Lake House, which we know is coming this month. Within the next 2 weeks. I think it might be the end of this month. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And then
there must be a lot. I haven't beat Control. There must be a lot of Control things in that, because like during the watch-over, there's like they would show a person and people would be like, "Ooh, it's that person." I was like, "Oh, okay." I need to go and play Control again.
You've never
Not
played
this
Control?
Year.
Okay.
I play Control. I didn't finish it, and I want to. So that's something on the agenda. Once things slow down, which I don't see happening until after December, at least. Like this year's going to be busy making sure I beat as many 2024 games as possible.
Yeah. That was cool. FBC Firewatch. What was it called? Firewalk?
Firewatch, I think, is right.
Firewatch is the name of a different game. Firewatch is a different video game.
Firebrand? No, that's the character from Ghosts and Goblins.
So if someone in chat put it there, do you want to just keep guessing until you get it?
Firebreak.
Yeah.
No, I saw chat say it. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, everybody.
Firebreak. This is the cooperative multiplayer game. 3-player co-op. I guess Left 4 Dead maybe to a certain extent.
Well, especially since these are people who make third-person games and now it's in first person, and I don't know why you make that decision unless you kind of want to tap a little bit into that Left 4 Dead energy.
Yeah. I bet it'll have its own distinct flavor and maybe some surprising mechanics that wouldn't make sense in Left 4 Dead. But whatever. I thought it looked pretty cool. Something we'll try. It's one of those ones where it's like I'll need to try it to know if it's something I'm going to care about long term. But if it's one good stream, I like those kinds of games too. No complaint from me. I do think that Alan Wake, Control, Remedy as a whole continues to be in this holding pattern of they are going to have a game that is going to really break. I think Alan Wake 2 artificially limited by not having physical games at retail when it launched.
Being stuck on Epic.
And being stuck on Epic and not on Steam. And it still did, all with all that considered, pretty well, I think. So I think if they can kind of just remove some of those barriers, some of those burdens from themselves, remove the heavy training clothes and drop those, I think the next game could really pop off. And I think those people will then be in the mood for this multiplayer game. Subnautica 2 was also announced. I know there's a lot of Subnautica fans, something I've always wanted to try. I might start with Subnautica 2. It's coming to Game Pass. It's going to be there. I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah, Subnautica, another one I always meant to do. I know a lot of people who really like that one. So I think the announcement of the sequel is a big deal. I think I'm trying to think if I feel like we knew there was going to be a Subnautica 2. This is maybe just the first we ever saw of it. I don't know.
I think they probably said in their Discord and stuff and on the Reddit community, we're making a new one. But this counts as the announcement to most people. I'm not paying attention, so I believe them when they say this was the announcement of that game. Beyond that, I don't know, not too much that really stuck out, but I thought it was a good showcase in terms of, hey, good pacing. These games are at least a curiosity to me. I'll check out a lot of them.
What was Bloober's new game?
Not Slitterhead. They're not the Slitterhead people.
It's like a sci-fi looking thing. There's a Dead Space person playing an old lady in chess.
Yes,
Kronos. That's right. What you call
Gooners? Yeah,
Gooners. It's a game I probably wouldn't have been interested in last week, but I finished Silent Hill 2 remake last night. I really enjoyed that, so I'm going to keep an eye on Kronos. That's funny. I think Kronos. Yeah, that's funny. No, Kronos is a time guy. He's not the one eye guy.
No. Yeah, I was wondering, maybe do they only have one eye? I couldn't remember. And then Wuchang or Wuchang, that was the sort of
Souls-like.
Yes, Souls-like, between character action and Souls-like, and maybe I don't know, action RPG almost,
Sekiro,
like a close camera.
Or
I don't know. It had a lot going on, but I thought the designs looked From worthy. Nothing's ever going to be as good as From, but From worthy was what I think what these games should aim for. And they're pulling it off. It does look like something that you could maybe see in a Sekiro or something like that in terms of its visual design and language. And then the game looked like, another one of these ones where, I'll try that. And if it, strikes my fancy, I'll be really happy with it. So some interesting games came out of that showcase. And I don't know. I'm always happy when these pop up and they don't waste our time. And I didn't think this one wasted our time.
Right. And again, there's low expectations. We knew what this was. It's obviously not going to be a place with first party Xbox games or a ton of announcements, or even for really big third party events like Silksong showing up.
Yep.
Right. So with all that in mind, I thought this was pretty good. It was fast paced. It wasn't very long. Everything it needed to be.
Then Sean Layden was interviewed, I think was it Gamescom Asia or something like that, I think. He was asked about the console arms race and what should we expect from PlayStation, Xbox going head-to-head in the future, and now he's just out there saying that it's plateaued and that most people do not want incrementally more powerful hardware going forward. That has changed, and I think him being Sean Layden, former head of Sony Worldwide Studios, former head of Sony Interactive Entertainment America. He might have been SCEA, Sony Computer Entertainment America, back before the SIE change. He worked at Sony for 30 years. He's had a lot of insights similar to this over the last few years since he left Sony, talking about how $200 million games are unsustainable. And now he's kind of talking about he even said like the way that games has worked as we know it, the way the console generations has worked as we know it, maybe needs to change, and we need to find out a new way of doing things. Is this a significant thing now that it's coming from someone like Sean Layden, or is this sort of a kind of, we already knew this?
I mean, a little bit of both. It is going to be a problem to just make new consoles exciting to people. I mean, we saw that with the PlayStation 5 Pro, how difficult a time they had really communicating what's interesting about that. And how much different is the jump from a PS5 Pro to a PS6 really going to be compared to a PS5 to a PS5 Pro? Like a bit more, not a ton more, maybe. Now, there's going to be things like, hey, if you make the portable console, that's just the portable version of PS5. Yeah, people, that's inherently exciting. So you have that trick to play at least. Aside from that, I don't think it's going to be immediately a problem like the next generation. That's still going to work out. But again, it's like, man, 20 years from now, which, 20 years can happen fast, or 10 years can happen fast. What does all of this look like? I don't think it's going to look like, how it did in the Xbox 360 era, which seemed to be the kind of guideline for how consoles were working for a very long time. And we were sort of coasting off that 360 energy for a while here. And those days might be ending. Yeah,
I think that was definitely like the split, right? Where on the one hand, there was the Wii, and on the other hand, there was the 360. And it's like, when you are Sony and Microsoft, you look over at the Wii and you're like, can we do this? And then they both come up with Kinect and Move, and both of them realize, well, we can't do this. The Kinect was a success, and then the follow-up wasn't, because of course it wasn't. But they're like, can we do stuff like Nintendo? And they tried, and it was, mixed results. But what they can do is, let's keep investing in technology and more powerful stuff. That is easy and makes sense. And then meantime, Nintendo was like, well, we're going to keep going down this path where everything's way cheaper. And so now we're 20 years removed from that, right? Where that split, and it feels like, oh, the path in front of us for going down the better technology, more powerful route, the road has run out, and it's still there, but it's just not as easy to walk as it once was. It's not as obvious that this investment is going to be worth it. Meanwhile, Nintendo seems like they have that other side of the conversation locked down, and I don't think these companies really regret going that way. They didn't really have a choice, because you kind of just can't be Nintendo. But they are in a situation now where it's like, we need to get more creative instead of just investing in more power. And I don't know if that's going to be easy for them to figure out what that looks like.
Right. And, they're maybe hoping just make a bunch of live service games. That'll be a silver bullet here. And we're seeing how difficult that actually is.
Yep. I think that while it is interesting to hear Sean Layden say it, while it is, I think it is valuable, I wonder if within Sony, if they echo these feelings. I bet they do. I bet they know. I bet they're like, we are going to put out a PS5 Pro because we do think that we can still make money from this stuff. We know we can, but we need to be thinking outside the box maybe here pretty soon. Sony's like the most like, hey, we're going to make the best looking box you got. We're not going to think outside the box. It's just going to be the slickest, coolest, most fashionable box ever. And people will show up and pay a premium for that. And that's worked for them. And I bet they'll be able to make it mostly work going forward. But they are going to want to try some different things. And I just don't know how that works. Last few stories here, just a couple things. Analog 3D was confirmed. This is the N64 FPGA hardware emulation thing from Analog. We'll be able to run the games at 4K, 10x the resolution of original N64 games. We'll have a bunch of cool CRT filters, stuff we've seen more and more from these things. I think this thing's pretty cool. $250 seems like a pretty fair price. Not going to be open FPGA like the Analog Pocket is at $220, where you can add a bunch of different cores very easily. I think that doesn't mean like you wouldn't be able to do anything with this hardware, because I think the Super NT that they had, you could, like, that wasn't necessarily open FPGA, but I think you could go in there and add some different cores for different systems, if I'm remembering correctly. Maybe that's not right. But either way, for N64, I will show up for this thing. Any interest from you for this?
No, just because, I'm not the biggest Nintendo 64 person
Right.
anyways. And I still, I have a N64 and I have a retro take. So that solution is good enough for me as somebody who, I
That's
like
basically
the N64.
that's basically what this thing's going to be, is that combination of hardware.
Right. And I like the N64 as much as I just like video games. Aside from that, I have no real like extra affinity for it. But I'm glad that they're doing this. I like the work Analog does. And I love seeing them get to this generation. Hopefully they continue and we get things like the Analog Saturn, the Analog PlayStation 1. I'm really interested to see what that looks like. They've done a CD system now with their kind of turbo CD equivalent, whatever that was called, Analog Turbo, I imagine. So yeah, I'm glad Analog is doing its thing. Yep.
I think this is I'm glad they didn't like go back. All right, now we're doing another kind of variation on 16-bit stuff, because in N64 and PS1 era and Dreamcast and all that stuff's going to be too hard. I'm glad they continue to push forward into this direction, because it's like, man, I love the N64. What if they did do a PS1? What if they did do a Dreamcast? And it feels like, well, the Dreamcast probably too powerful for the kinds of FPGA chips that are on the market for them right now. That's not going to be the case forever. So, and the fact that they are paying Kevtris, the guy that does their core emulation development, I continue to love that and really appreciate that. And while it's locked down to what Analog makes, in the long run, this is going to mean that work has been done, and people will find ways to either crack it open, port it, move it onto other stuff, or we could just have the Analog stuff forever as well, and that'd be great. Yeah, I'm gonna get this thing. I am realizing I really do like the N64 more and more all the time. So definitely a nostalgic thing, but it's when I saw this thing, I immediately was like, can I buy it? Can I buy it? I'm like, I was not expecting to feel that way, but I do.
What's the 7th best Nintendo 64 game ever?
Let's see here.
And don't count, just go with your gut.
Yeah. I'm trying to feel it. It is Jet Force Gemini.
Okay, well, pretty high for Jet Force Gemini, actually.
It's pretty high for Jet Force Gemini.
That's incredible. All right, good. Good for it.
There's the EGM Compendium. Electronic Gaming Monthly was a video game magazine that me and Mike read as lads, and they are going to put a bunch of the stories and like the stories written for the magazine, and then stories about the people working on the magazine and what it was like to make the magazine, together into a big book called the Electronic Gaming Monthly Compendium. This thing is getting kickstarted. It had a $60,000 goal, $20,000 goal, something like that. It doesn't matter. It surpassed it. Has a lot more money than that. A ton of support, and they're going to end up making this thing. I backed it right away, Mike. I'm very excited about it.
I also backed it pretty quickly. I mean, they wanted $35,000. It's at $243,000 now, so it's really smashed. It makes me happy to see that there's so much love out there for EGM still. Definitely my favorite magazine.
Yep.
Definitely a big part of why I'm in this industry, especially since, alumni from that, Damon Lynn, Did Shu, were our mentors, both of us with BitMob, and then further on. So, yeah, it's great stuff. We are backers. We might be even more than that. Stay tuned. But yeah, it's fantastic stuff.
Yep. Very, very cool. I hope that this also kicks this off, where it's like we get a ton of stuff like this. They should do an EGM Compendium 2. They release one of these once a year. I would show up for it. And then I hope a lot of the other gaming magazines, like I think IGN should be looking over this and be like, don't we still have the rights to Game Players and PlayStation Magazine and all this stuff? Maybe we should just do one for all our magazines in one thing and be like what it was like to have these gaming magazines in the 90s. I think that'd be awesome too.
I mean, there's certainly some that can get it, like GamePro could do it, Nintendo Power could do it if Nintendo wanted to, which, I don't know if they do, but it would be awesome. Yeah, there's, especially because, gosh, even Game Informer's gone now, right? This is just a whole era that is done and dead. I think a lot of people are feeling nostalgic for it.
Yep. That's the stuff I brought to the show this week. I'm going to try to do a little bit of a quicker one, everybody. But if you want to talk about something, there is always a way to make that happen. Super chats. We'll get to those right after this break.
All right, Christian's not here to tell us we're on a break, but I'll tell you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
It's just me and you. Sean's not here either. This is, it's like the old man. It's like old days, man.
Yeah.
You're on a break!
Oh, thank you, Sean.
True. All right, now it feels real.
Okay. Okay, thanks God. All right, I'm ready to go back to it. I got the super chats up.
Me too. Let's do it. All right, we're back. Mike just told me he has the super chat, so I'm going to ask him to go ahead and start reading those.
Ali Miracle says, here's some dosh for pizza for the Jamboree tonight. Also had Liquid Death at the Ren Fair over the weekend. Mike is right. It is dumb as hell. It's just water. Stupid ass $5 buck can of water. Thank you, Ali Miracle. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I also appreciate you bringing up the price because like everyone like got really mad at me when I was like I said I thought it was expensive. They're like, what are you talking about? So I backed off from it, but I still feel that in my bones. Hey, you Peekaboo says, okay, I guess it's an all-day streaming kind of day. Except for the Jamboree, I'll be trying a cider tonight.
Let's
Very
do
nice.
it.
And like you guys are doing whiskey.
I'm not gonna have a chance to go get the whiskey. I'm realizing, so I won't be doing that.
Oh shit! I went to the store. I got some beer, and I kind of got some strong stuff. I got some weak stuff too, but the strong stuff is Halloween themed, so I'm gonna at least start with one of those.
Fun.
So we'll see. Look, this is off-hour stream. I can't promise it's going to be the most sober Mikey ever.
This is gonna be the soberest Mikey you've ever seen. I guarantee it.
I don't think the internet has ever seen me too non-sober. I'm not sure if you've ever seen me too not sober. Maybe.
Yeah, you've definitely seen me like loopy and stuff. Yeah, we've been like.
I've seen you. Yeah, but you keep it up pretty. You're one of the more stable drunks I know.
Yeah, I'm just get affectionate and stuff. Like that's all that's gonna happen. Yeah.
The Uncharted Wolf says my sushi chain near me did a Pikmin collab. They turned a blue Pikmin into a cheesecake. Is Pikmin becoming more mainstream? Finally, I think with every new game that comes out, it gets a little bit more mainstream. The games seem to do a little bit better each time. So yeah, perhaps a smidge.
Yeah, I think it's cracked through that ceiling. It was above it a little bit. There's it's not Mario, but I think it's at a point where I think Nintendo has a team that considers them for marketing deals. So yeah.
Do you think Dan would think that Captain Olimar is more recognizable to children than Goofy?
I think he might. I'm sorry.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Mason W says Dan needs to get over it and keep metaphors name out of his mouth. We did not want him to play it.
Yeah, I do. I am like, God, you guys really like these games, and it's like I don't want to rain on the parade. I am kind of enjoying what I've played so far, but I do have my feelings about it. And it's like I should just shut up. Everyone's having a fun party. I tried to today during that stream. I tried not to say it, but I couldn't help it. And then here we are.
What's killing me now is like the whole metaphor thing, literal, like actual metaphors. Now Dan's be like, oh, people like metaphor fantastic think they're so fancy and like they get simple. I'm like,
no, they think it's like cool. Like you like all the things you like.
It's like this is when you like talk about your father thinking Outback is fancy. Yeah. Like, this is literally the same thing.
Yep.
Al Grug says, is the show early because the Guardians started playing at 5 and someone needs to be distracted during the show? No, I forgot that part. But the Guardians are still up 2-1, bottom of the 5th. I sure would like to see some insurance runs here, but maybe we have an incredible pitching bench. Maybe they'll just get us through the game. We'll see. They have a few hitters, though, over on the Yankees.
A few.
Nate, RFB with the first super chat. Thank you so much. Says, Mike, have you seen the show Atlanta? If not, you should watch the episode The Goof Who Sat by the Door. Don't look anything up. I think it will melt your brain in a hopefully good way. Interesting. When they say The Goof Who Sat by the Door, do they mean Goofy?
I think you should just watch it sight unseen. I don't think you should get an answer about that. And no one in chat answer that. Just go find out.
Had the Goof Troop stuck in my head a lot the last few days. I think one night this week I couldn't sleep, so at like 5 a.m. I just tweeted out a lyric from the Goof Troop theme. That was fun.
That's a good time.
Report to the Goof Troop.
And again, I never watched a ton of Goof Troop, but I got interested because I'm like, why did I start this sentence? Because I saw a TikTok about the mom.
Peg.
Yeah, Peg.
Right?
Peg. Yes, Peg. Yes.
I will make it an obvious joke. Speaking of obvious jokes, Chris Pratt says, bit too early for me today. Was in the middle of stomping some Zupas.
We didn't mean to interrupt you, Chris. Please,
sorry, Chris.
You don't have to listen. Get back to it. We know it's important to you with those Zupas. The fucking Zupas.
Casual says, Dear Nintendogs, do you have a ritual for getting the weekend started? Box of donuts, mid-afternoon nap. I don't do anything special, really. I don't think, Jeff. It's just the weekend starts, and
I just kind of melt into the floor a little bit. Yeah. Well,
I mean,
get the Bing bag or something like that.
It is probably the day I'm the most likely to do an afternoon nap, since like I know it doesn't really matter if I throw up my sleep schedule for tomorrow. Like, oh no, I'm going to sleep in on a Saturday. Like, I'm going to do that anyway, so it's fine. I
just want to point out that, someone like, oh, you can like super chats now. Chris Pratt's super chats always get the most likes.
They're the most popular.
Everyone loves the Zupas and the Tupas.
Yeah. You might not win an Oscar, but you've won our hearts.
You absolutely have, Chris. Congratulations, Chris-san.
Symbiosis says, thanks for the streams of my dog. Thank you, Symbiosis, for checking him out. Philip Fortuna says, all this metaphor talk has a lot of Paul Rucker can't order a plain cheeseburger because he doesn't think it's manly energy. I don't think it's a macho thing, although sometimes Dan doesn't do himself favors by saying that he thinks it's nerdy for losers. But I think that's the part where he's working a bit. Right. I think he understands that he's a nerd, and that's fine. But look, it's definitely not his thing.
I've been playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom with the kid. I'm like, wait, there's fairies, there's elves, they've got the pointy ears. He loves this shit. And he said himself, it's like, his excuse is, well, that's cool. So, yeah.
Right. Like, yeah. I do want to like ban him saying, well, that's cool as his reasoning for this thing. Like that, look, it's got to be more than that.
Yep.
Diogo RP says, had to send a super chat just to acknowledge how insane Dan is for asking, do you think Silent Hill 2 has metaphors?
If you want to give us money to complain about Dan, go to town.
This is great. Yeah. With that game probably having the most blatant physiological allegories in gaming. I did like when we were trying to explain metaphors. First, when the metaphors were like too obtuse that he couldn't see them, he didn't like that. But then also when metaphors are like pretty obvious, he also doesn't like that.
Yeah. So, he's like, that's just what it is. It's like, but it's a metaphor for something real. It's just trying to tell a different, whatever.
Right. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna get through. No. I mean, look, it's one of those things where like I think Dan understands metaphors, but he just is convinced that it's something more than what he thinks it is. Sometimes that I don't know. I don't know. I think he's in on his own head about it. Epic Open World says, Mike, you can't let Jeff get away with saying pasta is unsatisfying. Look, I've been yelling at Jeff too much this week. Look, he cannot like pasta. I wish I didn't like pasta. I think that solved a lot of my problems because pasta is probably my favorite food. Like, just put something on pasta. I will be so excited to eat that every time. It was at Olive Garden, so I don't know if that's a good representation or not, but it was like I got the tour of Italy, and I was just like, I don't think I like anything. I don't like it. Oh my God.
Chicken Parmesan, it could be, the Ozempic messing with the flavors and stuff like that. That's always a possibility.
Wow.
But I just was not in the mood for any of it. And I thought I was hungry for sure, but yeah.
I mean, I don't think Olive Garden's fine.
I think Olive Garden.
That's like garbage.
No, I don't think it's garbage. Yeah.
You could have much better pasta, but I mean, if nothing was like pleasant to eat, even, I don't know what contributed to that.
Why must God give Mike all his battles, just all in 1 week, nonstop battle for him to fight this week?
I know.
Defend pasta, metaphor, explain metaphors. You know what? You did get the Ally Miracle pointing out that Liquid Death is bullshit, so at least you got that going for you.
Yeah, the old battle was resurrected. One that I had given up on. I was like, well, I lost that one months ago. We're over that. Oh, gosh. Big Fresh 37 says, just got my alarmo, and I got to wake up for a shirt tomorrow because I got it. Endoscopy. I have these myself, but I can't say the word. Endoscopy. Endoscopy.
Endoscopy. Yeah. What?
Endoscopy.
Endoscopy, yeah, because it's
endoscopy.
Endoscopic, but would it be endoscopy? Whatever. Yeah, we're
the camera's going up a butt somewhere.
Yeah, the camera's going inside you.
Yeah, maybe not necessarily the butt. That's true. What song should I use first? Also, make sure that a best alarm song to wake up to is in your Game of the Year plans. Thank you, Big Fresh. Mine's not in yet. I'm hoping it comes in tomorrow. I mean, I'm definitely doing Jump Up Superstar. That seems like a bouncy song to wake up to.
Yeah. Tell you that Emmy, who stole mine immediately, woke up to. She put on the random Zelda one, so she's gonna wake up to a different Zelda song every day right now. So she, this morning I walked into her room and she's sleeping right through it, but the alarm clock's going Wake up, open your eyes. Like, so that's pretty cool that they just have Zelda saying that to you in the morning. I like that a lot.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like she's my... Never mind. Do you think there would be any way... could you make her feel bad if you wanted to for stealing something from you at this point? If you, pretended to be real sad, like, wow, that was mine. Like, do you think, she'd be like, no, it's yours, Daddy. I'm sorry I took it.
Yeah, I could make her feel bad if I wanted to. Yes, especially Emmy. Yeah, because Emmy's
is that a tool in your toolbox?
I don't pull out that tool very often. No. I feel bad when I'm like, I'm sorry, I need this for work. I need my Switch back. I'm sorry, I literally have to do this so I could talk about this game for my job, and I feel bad. So no, I usually don't pull that out too frequently.
Willow Davis says, my dog Holly is here listening in. She's recovering from pancreatitis. Can you give her a quick pep talk about being brave through a tummy ache?
Oh, yeah. Holly, hang in there. Listen, it's pancreatitis, that's a real deal problem. The fact that you got through that, and now you're just dealing with a tummy ache, you should be proud of yourself. Good job there, Holly. Good girl.
Yeah. Holly, when I had a bad tummy ache in Germany, they gave me a very special pill, and it helped a lot. So, and I bought some because it's over the counter, and I took them home. So if you really need one, just let me know.
Yeah, your boy can hook you up, Holly. Wrap it in some bacon.
Plus,
yeah.
Whatever it was. Chuckowski says, not a wall, but an EverDrive cart with every N64 ROM on it in an analog 3D system. I'm hot and bothered, boys. Already have the cart. It's weird. I've never messed around with an EverDrive cart. I don't know why. The one I would want to do that with is Saturn, probably, because I really like the idea of just having every Saturn game easily
one of those,
accessible.
Yeah, the OEM CD replacement things. Right. Yeah, here's a Game Boy Advance.
The Saturn's funny because I think you put it in that weird RAM cartridge slot that the Saturn has.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah,
that seems intriguing to me. So I don't know.
Yeah, I like this. The thing with the analog ones is eventually. Not right away, but eventually they released the jailbreak firmware, and then you can just put it on an SD card, and you don't even have to get the EverDrive. But at first, you'll probably want the EverDrive. That's a good way to do this.
Propaganda Panda says Liquid Death is good, and Mike is wrong. Oh, no. I told you. I have no victories, Jeff.
Yeah, but you got $2 for it, so hey, there you go.
No, after I split it with you and a little bit go to the mods, it's like 60 cents.
You left YouTube out. That's like 35 cents.
Shit. Radu Paragal Tagana says Dan's relationship to meaning is questionable. You're right. Having people banned because they're mad at Dan is incredible. I love it. Don't tell Dan that he's making us money for being he'll
ask for his cut, but that'll be fun to tell him no. So I might.
Absolutely not. Karen Smith says Dan should watch the movie Il Postino. An exiled poet, Pablo Neruda, teaches a lonely postman the power of metaphors. On second thought. Daily Beating says, excited to check out the Jamboree tonight. I think it would be fun to see Dan lose a lot if you all don't mind. I mean, he hasn't won one of these party games in a while.
He's on a losing streak, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I think
you won Anime Party?
Bailey. I won Anime Party, and all I really won was Depression.
Yeah, that's right. Bailey beat him when we played it at whatever that one time. DreamHack. I won when we did Mario Party Superstars way back, when I first started Giant Bomb. So yeah, he hasn't won in a while.
Miracle says Dan working pivots into money for Game S LLC.
There it is.
Right.
Yep.
Stinky says take my money to complain about Dan.
Let's go. Keep it coming, everybody.
A lot of the rest of them are about Dan.
Let's go.
Tyrant says, I was so happy to see Dan. I don't get metaphors. Get educated about the whole end of a net was the first thing I thought of when he said that. I'll tell you what, that's one thing that got me. There's no way he doesn't understand that a net being a puppet is a metaphor, whatever word he wants to use for it.
Right.
For the way that his parents treated their child like a puppet.
Yes. Like they are doing that. If I guess that's what he would say. Is like, no, they're treating. But like, what? She doesn't have to turn into a puppet for that to be the case. What are you talking about?
Right, part of the reason why it's funny is bad is because it's so blatant and obvious.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
But still, that's why else do you think she's a puppet?
Yep.
Chris Pratt says, just laugh when I say Chris Pratt says that. Chris Pratt got a lot of likes, by the way, on this one. I don't know this Dan guy, but I hope he likes stomping the tupas as much as me. Perhaps we can play Mario Arcade together.
We'll make that happen, Chris Pratt. Honestly, that might actually happen one day.
Yeah, and then Matt Rare Monkey says, "There's no way Dan gets the puppet."
He doesn't get the puppet.
I might have to. I know I shouldn't bring. I want to bring. This is like the one I do want to bring up. The puppet. Do you think that you haven't played Metal Gear Solid 3, but I wonder if he thinks that the boss from Metal Gear Solid 3 has a giant scar shaped like a snake on her from where she had a C-section because Hideo Kojima thought it'd be cool.
Mikey's gonna say yes. Scars and snakes are cool
because it's real cool. Like a scar looks like a snake. All right, that's it. If you guys want to send in more super chats, we will get to them before the end of the show. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. That was great. All right, we're gonna take another break because Christian said we have to take 3, so we're gonna do that now. We'll be right back after this. All right, Mike. There's no setup for the game, so
okay. I do have to get
go do it.
Drink real quick. Nice strikeout from the guards. We're looking okay.
Chat, make sure I remember to excuse me. Make sure I remember to explain kind of what I want from Mike for this segment. It's not like a lot. I just gotta make sure I kind of set him up so he knows how to hit him back at me.
What is the segment?
It's just we're gonna do over under and we're gonna do odds makers. So I'm gonna give him a prompt to be like, okay, here's the number. And is this number of games with the word Astro in the title between now and the end of the PS5? And we can pick over and under for the number. And then the point is, he's like, I want him to like kind of take a strong position, argue it, so then I can argue back or whatever, or agree with him if necessary, just so it can be kind of a debate. Like, it's not just him guessing, so we can see how smart he is. It's about like, let's have kind of a little bit of a conversation about each thing.
I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
yeah, we're getting fast innings today. Okay. That's what we need. Finally seeing some good.
He can't even hear us, and he just starts talking when he enters the room.
Sorry,
it's all right. What's up, Sean?
For the analog 3D, you'll need to wait for a jailbreak to do anything other than play N64 carts.
Oh, yeah.
That's what lack of open FPGA support means.
Yeah, I mean, EverDrive would work, right?
Right, well, because that's an N64 card.
Right. Okay, yes. But yes, the jailbreak does take a long time with analog.
It depends, because in the early days, Kevtris himself put them out.
Yeah.
But I think now it's a community thing, so they have to wait.
Is that what it was? Yeah. All right. I'll bring us back in. Oh, wait, that's right. No, I need to explain to Mike. Mike, we're going to do over, under, and odds makers. For over, under, I will give you a number, and I'll be like, is this scenario going to be over or under that number? And this is not about, like, we're going to check Mike's answers in a couple months to see if you were right. We're just going to have a little bit of a debate. So you take a strong position, and then either I agree with you or push back, or we discuss it. It doesn't have to go very long for each thing, but we just discuss it real quick, and then we move on to the next one.
I got you. I will not just say over and under and then stop talking.
Exactly. And then yes, and just kind of get, make your case. And then odds makers, it will be, here's a scenario. What is the percentage chance that this is going to happen? And you give your reasoning. And then I will probably jump in with Mike, I think that's right. Or maybe it's a little bit more likely because of this, that sort of thing. Got it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's do it. Hey, don't lose my EverDrive from my Game Boy Advance, kiddo. All right. Let's bring it back in. All right. We are back. And Mike, I got a couple of games for you to play. Does that sound good?
I like playing games.
First one is going to be called Over Under. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a number. I want you to tell me if the scenario related to that number is going to be over or under. People will get the hang of it real quick. I think you got the idea already, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the first number is 0.5. Now, over or under will that be the number of games with the word Astro in the title between now and the end of the PS5? Over under 0.5.
Interesting. I always want to say under because it's like, they'll probably just like do it once a generation. And then I'm like, well, what else is Team Asobi going to do? You can't have to figure that's going to become the Astro company for a while now. Even still, I think it's how long do I think it is till PlayStation 6? 4 years. I'm going to say under. I don't think we're getting another Astro game for PS5. The next one's probably like a PlayStation 6 launch game or something like that.
Interesting. I think I'm going to go over, maybe barely over, because I think there's a chance that they springboard off of this and do an Astro spinoff, Astro Kart, Astro Party, something like that. And then that's how we get one more game with the Astro name in it. Probably not a ton, because I don't think that, for one, they don't want to oversaturate things, but I think they might feel pretty good about this enough to be like, is this our mascot? And they might try one other thing, and that would enable maybe a smaller team inside of Asobi, a partner studio, to work with them and come up with something that could be something along those lines. An Astro Sports Collection game.
A distinct possibility.
All right, next up, 45. Number of characters in the next Super Smash Brothers game, and this is after Ultimate or Super Ultimate, whatever they call the next, but the next real Smash Brothers game. Real quick, this one came from Remember the Alarmo on the Discord. 45 is the number.
How many? Okay, so if there's 89 in Ultimate, it's gonna be over. I know some people think like, oh, they gotta there can't be that many, and maybe not. I don't know. It just seems like such a hard pitch for me to be like, hey, last time it was everybody's here and that was really exciting, and this time it's not as many people are here. It's just immediately a hole you're putting yourself in. And I realize like the only way you can really get out of that is if you just kind of make the next game a bit of a Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Plus, and maybe that is what you had to do. Unless you do something really wacky, like it's going to be a 3D fighting game, but are people going to really get that excited about that? I don't know. I think that the next Smash Bros. Game is going to it's going to be a lot like Ultimate with some new characters, some new stages, and hopefully maybe something like a more exciting single player mode. But 40, way higher than 45.
Yeah, I think it probably is over. I think even if they do this scenario where we want to reset things a little bit, so we have room to reintroduce characters through DLC and when we come back and we do a sequel to this game, because maybe it is a little bit different from Ultimate. We just want to have room to work with and have characters that can have a certain kind of fighting move set where we don't have to think so crazily about it, so that we can it could be a little bit easier. But even in that scenario, I think they probably start somewhere closer to 60. 80, they're not going to have 89 to start with the next one, unless it is just kind of Ultimate and variations on Ultimate forever now, which is a possibility as well, I guess. All right, the next number is 3.5, and that's related to number of hours for this year's Game Awards, and this one came from Joy Z on the Discord.
Gosh, how long was it last year?
About 3.75 hours.
Yeah, and I think that was like him kind of finally trying to move it along a bit. So, and I'm glad he did that. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it. Sorry, we just had a really interesting play there, but we were safe one first.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't think it's going to be shorter than last year's. I think last year's was him really working very hard to make it as snappy as he could. In some ways, too snappy, right? Like we weren't giving out enough awards to people and things like that. So I think expecting it shorter than 3.5 hours is a bit much.
Yeah, I think, and he's just got to leave all that room for ads, right? So I think it's 3.5 hours feels like maybe the minimum. Like maybe he gets one year where it's like 3.25 hours or something like that. But nah, 3.5 hours, and he just cashes those checks from all those ads that he included, and that's the show.
All right. If they review this play, the Guardian's going to be out. He's actually out here. We'll see what they do.
So will they have to challenge it though? It won't be like,
I don't know. They already challenged something before, and I think it didn't take. So, but he's definitely actually out. We got away with one there, maybe.
All right. Next number is also 3.5.
Yeah,
and this is
sorry.
Yep, no worries. Number of years before the next real new Naughty Dog game. Over under 3.5.
Man, 3.5, it seems like so far away, and it's been so long. When did Last of Us Part 2 come out? 2019?
Yeah.
Let me look that up. And that was their last one. And yeah, they made some games. They've had some remake, and they had a false start. 2020. And they had a false start.
I mean, they had a false finish with the multiplayer game. I mean, that thing was pretty much done.
I'm going to say under, because I think it's going to come out like in 3 years, right? Like it's going to be a bit. And again, at that point, maybe it is more like a PS6 launch game or something, and not, and maybe it's cross-platform PS5. But you could see it being more than that, because again, like how far along are they on this thing? And if it's Naughty Dog and they keep just getting more and more ambitious, my God, how long does one of those take to make anymore? So I'm going to maybe be optimistic and say under, but could easily be over.
I would go with over, because I think the first release date that we hear for this new thing would be 3 years from now, and then it gets delayed at least one time, and that puts it to 4 years. So I'm going to go over. I mean, that's the very end of the PS5 and makes it a PS5 6 cross game. I just think that's the future of Naughty Dog here, where it's like they will have to get back on track and they'll try to do better next gen. But I think we're going to go this whole gen, and it's going to be at the very end where we finally get that next game. All right, next one is 4.5, the number of years before the next Cyberpunk game. And this one came from Dan Fiasco. The last one was from Cranch's Big Basketball.
I think over, because we know they're making a Witcher game next. They said that, and maybe that comes out kind of at the tail end of the next 4.5 years, and then they're going to Cyberpunk. I don't know. These projects are going to be kind of worked on simultaneously to some degree, but even still, most resources are going to be on Witcher first. So I think it's going to be more than 4.5 or 5 years before we see the next Cyberpunk.
That sounds right. So then, okay, let's do The Witcher for that then. The next Witcher is at 4.5.
I mean, even that's kind of rough. Like, maybe it's 4 years away, maybe very favorably 3 years away, but you could see that being 5 years away pretty easily, even for Witcher. But I don't know, they've been talking. I feel like it was a couple years ago where they announced that, so maybe under, because it could be 4 years. I guess I'll say under. All
right. Well, that's going to take us to odds makers. So in here, again, just a reminder, I'm going to give you a scenario. I want you to give me a percentage chance out of 100% that this thing is going to happen. All right.
All right. What if I add Samoa Joe to the mix?
Well,
Kurt Angle to the mix.
Right. Then you're a genetic freak. You're allowed to do that, Mike.
Yeah, and my chances of winning drastic go down. Okay.
Drastic go down. All right. Nintendo does a Game Boy Mini.
It's somehow just like a 20% chance at this point, maybe even lower. They just seem like they have no interest in that market anymore. Like, it was, they clearly had that market cracked. They jumped on it first. It was doing really well for them. And that was forever ago. Like, that was before the Switch came out, right? The NES Classic, the SNES Classic. Like, that stuff was forever ago now. And they just haven't moved on that at all. Maybe 20 is generous. I'm like talking myself out of it. I'm going to say 15%.
Yeah, I think that... I'll take your 20%, and if we put a timeline on this, maybe it goes down. I think like in several years they'll probably wrap back around to this. But that they were doing those mini consoles, then they were doing the handheld, the little video game things, the Game and Watch things, not Game Boys, but Game and Watch,
right,
with Zelda and Mario on it. And they're like, well, we did Zelda, we did Mario, we're not going to do anything else. They have something else this year. It's called the Alarmo. The Alarmo is very much in that slot for them. A weird Christmas item that can sit on the shelf at Target that people can pick up on Black Friday as a gift for someone.
Except that it's not going to be in Targets at Christmas time, which is wild to me.
Right. Right. Instead, they're doing I feel like they probably missed something there, but they have it on the Nintendo Store, and maybe they're like, well, we get more money by putting it in the Nintendo Store, so we'll just do that. But that is what they're doing this year, and it's like, okay, so Nintendo's already moved on from those Game & Watch things, and honestly, this thing they're selling for $100. Those things they never sold for that much money, right? The Super NES Mini was $80.
Yeah, it was below 100.
So like they're and this thing's probably cheaper to make than those things. So
that's some wild that the SNES Classic was cheaper than the Alarm. you say that now, I'm upset.
Yep, I mean part of that's going to be inflation, and part of it's just Nintendo's like, well, we got a dumb gimmick for dummies, and we're going to be able to really take them to the bank on this one.
Am I the dummy?
I am the dummy for sure. All right, next odds maker proposition. Metaphor wins the Keeleys.
I think it's rough just because I think there's a lot of people. There's plenty of views in Dan's in various degrees that it's just not going to click with them at all. And then in that case, it's weird because I'm not sure what the favorite is. There's such a good spread. I feel like even Astrobot probably has a better chance than Metaphor right now. I think Metaphor has a better chance of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, actually. For one thing, just kind of being newer, and I think generally people seem to have less caveats about Metaphor, and even though Rebirth had very good reviews, people seem to have a lot of caveats with that one. So yeah, it could happen. I don't think it's a super high chance. I'll say like a 30% chance for Metaphor.
Yeah, before you were done, I was like, I wonder where he's going to land here. So I think I would go with a 33.3% repeating chance. I think it's 1/3 of a chance. Not that there's like two other games, it's kind of a mess, but I think you're right, Astro's kind of in there, maybe with another third of the chance. And then there's a bunch of other stuff, like Bolatro's got a 2% chance of winning, that sort of thing.
And wait to see how good Dragon Age is, because
that
could do well.
I do want to ask you about that. How good does Dragon Age have to be to win Game of the Year? Because I think, like, even if Dragon Age is, like, equally as good as Metaphor, I think after Dragon Age Inquisition, where it's like that won a lot of Game of the Years just by default, because it was like, I guess this is the best game that came out in this kind of weak year. I think this game would have to be so much better than everything else for it to win.
Maybe, but I do think Dragon Age has a wider appeal. Maybe
it
it doesn't
have a lot
anymore.
Of fans.
It has a lot of fans, and it sells a lot of copies, right? I think Dragon Age Inquisition has probably sold more copies than any Atlas RPG has in a lot of ways. So
I suppose that's right. Yeah, when you start doing the math that way.
I think if Dragon Age got as good reviews as Metaphor, I think it would have at least as good a chance as Metaphor of winning it.
All right. What are the chances that the Pokemon publicly blames the leaks for the delay of a video game?
Gosh, that's interesting because they would love to blame people.
Yeah.
That would be good. I don't know if they'd ever come out and say something like that, though, right? I have a hard time seeing that. I would say like a 15% chance. Again, that's my number, 15.
Yeah, I think I'll go with a 25% chance, but not like in a public statement, like. An executive mentions it in an interview somewhere offhandedly, or they mention it in an earnings report or something like that. Nintendo might mention that or something like that. I think there is this scenario where they're like, hey, that caused some problems, and because of that, we're going to take a little bit more time on this stuff while we clean up this mess.
I still can't believe everyone's caught up on Typhlosion when we have all this Skyla stuff happening, which is just real wild to me.
I still don't know what Slacking's been accused of. But
no, I'm afraid to look.
Yep, I am too. I look at that guy and I'm afraid. Tell you that.
I don't want to know what Slacking's doing.
All right, last odds maker proposition. What are the chances that Game Pass comes to Steam?
The chances that Game Pass comes to Steam, well, there was a 100% chance that the Guardians just scored there. Sorry.
Hey, congrats.
So the chances that what comes to Steam? Game Pass.
Yes, it's all right. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I still have a harder time seeing this because I'm just like, what does that look like exactly? You have to have a completely different selection of games. Would Steam really care? What is that? This might be a problem with my imagination more than anything, Jeff. But I still only see that really being a 10% chance.
Yeah, you're right. Like, how do they make that make sense for everyone involved? There's so many masters to serve in that situation.
Now, Fire's saying that EA Play is on Steam. It's like things like that. All right, now I remember, I guess so. So it's like, man, I guess why not? Now, well, Microsoft has all the games on there, but they'd rather people do it on their Xbox app.
To remind people of how that happened, I think that Valve went to EA and said, what would it take to get Apex Legends onto Steam? So Valve broached them about that. Like, you think Valve's always just sitting there on their mountain waiting for everyone to come to them to ask them for some gold. But Valve was like, hey, what would it take to get Apex Legends on Steam? And EA was like, can we have EA Play on Steam? And Valve said yes. So I think if Microsoft, with a lot of chips now to like play with, like, hey, we have Call of Duty, and do you want because like I guess Call of Duty is already on Steam going to be happening. That's already happening going forward. But maybe because that they like, and Valve has a good relationship with Microsoft these days, I think they'd be like, maybe we could just make this happen to kind of make sure everyone's feeling happy and we keep Call of Duty here for long term. So maybe something like that can happen.
Maybe I'm being pessimistic with 10%, but I'm still going to keep it.
All right, Mike. That was good. You did a good job on that.
Thank you.
That was a lot of fun. We'll do more of that in the future. Trying to come up with new segments all the time. And I was watching Pardon the Interruption.
Yeah.
They did this. So
it would have been fun to go through that top 100 PC games list I was complaining about, but it's 100 games, so I don't know if we can fix that one.
If we ever did something like that, it would be like a dedicated stream or something like that.
It would be a whole different thing. I'm not foolish enough to want to make a list of the top 100 PC games. Like, how could that's so many games? I haven't played all those games. I don't know.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3, number 1, though.
No, it was only like number 11.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Why so low? All right.
Metaphors.
One last break. We'll come back. We'll talk about what we've been playing and get out of here right after this.
Power update. Power's back.
Yay!
Hey, how's it going?
All right, glad to hear it, Christian.
Let's go.
All right, you good to finish this up, Mike?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll do super chats for after.
super
We'll do super
chat.
chats after.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I connected to some weird ass fucking street Wi-Fi. It didn't feel good, so I turned it off.
Oh man, you gotta be careful with that. Get yourself
Yeah, I don't
tested.
know.
All right. We're back, Mike. I'm curious. What have you been playing?
I did finish Silent Hill 2. I think I talked about that a little bit earlier.
Hey, HLTB on that.
Oh, yeah. Like, I think 12 or 13 hours, a little bit, like, or 14, a little bit longer than you would think. And there was maybe one section where I was like, maybe this could have been trimmed a bit. But I don't think it was like some overly long, overstaying its welcome kind of game, right? I didn't begrudge it its length too much. Maybe a little long for what it is, but not horribly so.
You ever say something and know it just annoyed Sean? Because I know he's like, that's the same number of syllables as how long to beat. Why would you say it that way? I just know.
You know me so well.
But yeah, it's I was like, this is like not an impossible number of hours. I would like to play that game. So but also you were streaming it and that looked fun. I'm like, man, I should, especially horror games. That's such a fun thing to stream. I keep psyching myself out. I should just play it and not worry about streaming it because that's always like, oh, I'll just save that for the stream, and then I never can get around to doing that. But it looked like fun when you were playing it.
It was fun. It's very enjoyable. You know, like I love Resident Evil, and I love the fact that like it does like just randomly have goofs in it and whatnot. But I do also appreciate Silent Hill taking itself pretty seriously, and because of that, it is able to tackle difficult subjects that you probably don't want to see in a Resident Evil. And those things are handled in Silent Hill 2, and they're handled very well, actually. Right, like it's pretty impressive to see these topics broached and addressed in a thoughtful way that doesn't feel cheap. That's awesome. Kind of outlandish, or exactly. So yeah, just in general, really impressed. It looks great. It played great. I know a lot of people are skeptical about what Blooper Team would do with this one, but it was good stuff. Did we have an in-ground fly out? Oh, God. Yeah, I couldn't actually recommend it enough if you think it's something that you would be interested in.
Yeah, the degree of difficulty on what
year.
they're doing here with all that stuff is like so impressive that they obviously they pulled it off originally. And then, Bloober, credit to Bloober coming in there, and it feels like such an underhanded compliment or backhanded compliment to say, oh, and they didn't mess it up. It sounds like they did right by that game, and they should get the credit for it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it was more than that. I think they actually did a very good job doing this. Again, like in terms of things that felt off, it's very, very few complaints. Again, maybe one section could have been trimmed. I think people would talk about, as I talked about, like the introduction of the Pyramid Head character. Like that scene wasn't really done super well. They're not giant issues at all. And so many other things stand out really well. The voice acting, very good. The performances in general, the gameplay itself feels very satisfying. The nice kind of switching between the melee and the shooting. It all worked very well for me.
My wife that you got on that through the game.
So yeah, that was my biggest complaint is, so we start the game and he said like my wife twice right away. So like I hurried up and got a my wife counter made for my stream. Right. And it's like the first like 10 minutes he said it twice. And then for the next 14 hours he said it one more time.
That's incredible.
Yeah, he very quickly just started calling her Mary. And all the other characters knew about Mary, so he didn't have to just say my wife. Like I thought it was going to be like the Fugitive situation or something where he just says my wife constantly. But no. So I looked pretty stupid.
The one-armed man killed my wife.
I didn't kill my wife.
I didn't kill my wife. All right.
I don't care.
Oh God, what a good line. Anything else from you, Mike?
I mean, I've been playing more Metaphor and have been really enjoying it, and like systems that keep kind of still opening up there. I think I'm about to get my fourth, 15 hours. I'm heading towards what I assume is getting my fourth party member pretty soon here.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
Yep. I started Astrobot's speedrun today. Oh, sorry. What was that, Christian?
Oh, he's super delayed.
Yeah, he's got a big delay, huh? All right. Well,
no, sorry. I was just like confirming that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm super delayed. All right.
There you go. Okay. Well, yeah, I've been playing Astrobot's speedrun level. I know you have been as well.
Yes, I did. I guess I forgot about that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was glad you let me start here. I really wanted to start it when it first released this morning. I was in an appointment, so I couldn't do that. As soon as I showed up, Dan had a pretty decent time, and it was a little bit challenging to get up to where he's at. Was doing it blind mostly, where we're kind of not looking at other people's speedruns yet. It was fun to like get some good times that way, and I did beat his time eventually doing it raw. And now we are looking at YouTube videos of we're doing YouTube video, looking at YouTube videos. I did the thing. I'm like, I can tell he's like, I'm gonna do the thing. And like learning the skips, learning the best techniques. A lot of good tech out there, and it's always annoying of like, oh, I've learned how to play this level my way, and now I need to unlearn that muscle memory. But it happens, and I played it a bunch on stream today. We just kind of hung out while I played the level, and Dan was playing in the background, Sean was playing in the background, and we're all setting times and trading stuff. Jordan Midler showed up in chat. He was sharing his times, and it was fun to be like, okay, I'm learning all this stuff, and we'll get to a point where I'll go off stream. I'll sit down over there and I'll actually give it a real go. Because that's what happened. Like I had a few minutes and I was able to like quickly beat Dan after I had those few minutes. And now it's like, okay, I've done a bunch more and I'll take all that stuff I learned and really apply it when I could just focus entirely on what I'm playing. So, sorry, my kid's like doing the magnet right here on this desk. And I love that stuff. I love it. This is a really good way of doing things. One level per week. We could just all focus on that.
I'm glad that's how they're doing it.
Yes. So how are you finding it?
Oh, I'm liking it a lot. I haven't gotten to my amazing time yet. I'm working on it. I still have to find this 28-second video. Nobody will share it with me because you're all trying to cheat me. So I think
Mike, I just put it in the chat here.
What chat?
YouTube chat.
Yep,
YouTube chat. Where is that? Oh, let me see it again. Okay, good. Thank you. So yeah, I think I fact right after this, I'm probably going to stream for like an hour or so before we do Mario Party. Think of that.
It's a good time to like, because it's you start off the level and you're like, okay, I just did this and I felt it was really fast, but that was 33 seconds. I am 2 seconds slower than Dan Reichert. What's going on here? And then you start thinking,
right,
okay,
exactly.
You're like, wait, when I noticed when I do this boost with this dog power, it feels like it starts off way faster than it finishes. It feels sort of sluggish at the end. So let's try to shorten that stuff up. And then of course, I'm like, as soon as I realized that, I start talking to the guys and everyone's like, yeah, that seems to be way better. So it's like, okay, now we got to figure out how do we incorporate short boosts instead of long boost. So that completely changes the path you need to take through some of these areas. And it also makes some more precise platforming, especially in that last section with the two.
Right, the last section is like the big hurdle right now.
Right, that's the one that's like, because
the spinning X's,
because every time you arrive there, there's not a global cycle, but there is that you see those things pop up when you do a certain jump, and depending on how long it takes for you to get from that point to those things, the X's on the rotation could be in a slightly different position, and so you kind of have to like wing it every time. Like, yeah, there's an optimal path. You want to be doing short boosts even across those X's, but sometimes it's like, I don't think I'm going to be able to make that work at all. And this whole good run could be ruined. So I'm going to play it a little bit safe and making those choices on the fly. So you know what? This is a good speed run level because you get all that stuff early on where you can optimize it. And then sometimes there's still going to be the need for a little bit of jazz at the end. And 30 seconds, perfect amount of time. I'm just like, oh, they nailed it. They really knew what they're doing. Should be commended. And I am looking forward to this next week and spending a lot of time on this level and just perfecting it. Like Marino's saying, he's got a better time than me. He spent an hour without being able to shave off any more time and then finally got a slightly better time. So, and then we're talking about mid 30s, 30.5, 30.6, 30.7. The best times on the leaderboard are down to 28 seconds, and that seems to be all execution. So, yeah.
It's cool like it's surprising how like there's this one part where it's actually faster to jump and boost for a little bit to hit this gap, and it's like you get just high enough to make it.
You took the post car wash skip?
Yeah, right to the car wash skip.
Yep. So you go down the slide, and instead of taking the jump pad, you're just going to do a jump, a spin, the laser beam double jump, and then you boost right across, and you just barely make it, and it kind of cuts right over to the slide. So yeah, there's a lot of cool tricks. It's I don't know. Yeah. It's fun. If in your life you got people that play this game, just start pinging them with your times and create your own little friend leaderboard. I can't recommend it enough. It's such a good time.
Okay, let's get these super chats. I gotta get back.
Sounds good, Mike. Read the super chats.
I guess I should open those up first. Yeah, that'd be good. Next one is from Big Fresh 37. It says Super Mario Broth is in trouble. Help if you can. What's wrong with Super Mario Broth?
I have no idea. I love Super Mario Broth. That's,
the Guardians catcher got hit in the balls. Oh shit!
Is he okay?
He looks okay.
All
he
right.
looks fine. Okay. Woof. That didn't look fun. All right.
Right in
I
the
hope
nailers.
Right in the nailers. Holy shit. All right. I hope Super Mario Bros. Okay. Next up, double play. That'll make you feel better. Next up is from
Super Mario Bros. Mom passed away and can't make money anymore. Oh no! But the Patreon came through, so I think he's fine now.
Okay, good, because I felt really bad talking about that guy getting hit with his balls after that. Then,
right, fine now, right, fine, relatively speaking, of course. Hey, throw the Patreon link in chat, everybody. Super Mario Broth is a great blog that finds the coolest shit about Mario games. It rules. Support them.
Baba is me says, wow, Grubb, major boomer points with references to OG Dick Van Dyke and Golden Girls in one show. And I am old AF, so appreciated both references on last week's Bombcast.
You're welcome. Thank you for the super chat.
Bob CO saying, just sent a super chat, so thank you very much, Bob. No message. Hey, you. Peekaboo says, my son-in-law, Chris, let me know this Dan gentleman, and I'd love to watch Chris and you guys stomp the Zupas while we enjoy some cigars. God bless.
God bless.
I don't know if
you.
I think you're on your main He You Pay You Peekaboo. I don't think you're on your Schwarzenegger.
Wait, it says Schwarzenegger to me.
Really? It says Hey You Peekaboo to me.
Yeah, it says Arnold Schwarzenegger. So yeah, maybe they changed it afterwards. I don't know.
Oh no, exposed. Next one is from Tyrant. It says, this is the TEF super chat, by the way. How are we feeling about wrestling lately? I think AEW is finally getting good again with Paige, Swerve, MJF, Cole. WWE feels down with Bloodline drawn out. I definitely feel like AEW is coming out a bit of a downturn for sure. Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to say.
I mean, listen, I think that the Bloodline is not as good as it once was, of course, but I think all of those characters still involved. I think Cody and just everyone involved is just still really good, and they're nailing all of the beats as best they can. It's never going to be quite the heat that it once was, but as they can play on that for I think a couple more years, and I'll be happy.
Big double from the Yankees, but they have 2 outs. So
what's the score?
It's 3-1, top of the 7th. They have 2 outs. They just got a double. The Yankees did, so hopefully we get out of this one here.
Tell the Guardians get a few more runs for me. All right. Are we going to super chats?
That's it.
All right. Excellent. I'm going to hit the button. All right, Mikey. Tonight, Super Mario Party. I will see you there for that 9 p.m. on Giant Bomb. Everybody, we're going to be doing that on Giant Bomb. So instead of hanging out here, just go over to giantbomb.com/chat. Sign up for that. Hang out with us. All right, in the real chat. We'll be on Twitch and YouTube, of course, as well. But that'll be a good time.
Like I said to you, but before that, I am going to go on my Twitch at Tolkoto. I'm going to play some Astrobot here, try to get that time down.
You could have hung out with us all day today. There was something happening pretty much every minute. So, go to Tolkoto next. Anything else, Mike? What else you got going on?
Going to the Guardians game tomorrow, so hopefully I'll be cheering them on after a win tonight. That's what I'm hoping for.
Ideally, that'd be the scenario. Happy for you. Hope that comes out. Tomorrow on Giant Bomb, we are going to be doing a Astrobot Invitational. So be ready for that, Mike.
Wow.
We're doing that during the.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, good. We're gonna be. I think we're basically gonna take turns running the level. So I should get
interesting.
I should get a safe run in there. I should learn a safe run so I can try to actually win that. That's not my way of winning. I don't know why we're doing it this way. But we'll do that. It'll be a good time. We'll just share all our gameplay one at a time. It'll be excellent. That'll be. I think we're doing that at 2 p.m. Eastern. There will not be a BCR tomorrow. So Giant Bomb stuff. It'll be GMM. UPF, and then we're going to kick to the weekend.
Got the fly out. All right, we're out that
good deal. But hey, other than that, for Game Mess, I know I still owe everybody a Q&A. This weekend things should be a little bit slower. Might be able to make that work. So I'll try to do that. And then thank you everybody who's been joining the Patreon recently. It's been nice to see. As always, it feels like there'll be a couple weeks there where it's maybe 1 or 2 people joined, and then kind of a slew of people join all at once. So shout out to everybody who's been supporting that. It's been really nice to see.
I got an email that said important information for your upcoming Guardians game. And the first thing is about new food offerings, including the knuckleball, an oversized Italian meatball muffin. This is very important
Get some
information.
nailer balls! Get your nailer balls here, everybody! All right, we're getting out of here. Have a good one. Take care of yourself.
Pastry.
Goodbye.
Well, that sounds good as hell. I'll have one knuckleball, please.
Oh, she's just my little meatball muffin.
Aw.
I have to poop.
You know, I think Dan is just overcompensating for the fact that he whacks it to Hobbit porn every night.
Yeah.
Sean is right.
Hey.
Thank you, Dan.
Until I see evidence that the world is round, I'm not believing a damn thing.
Yeah.
Got the
Sean
Sean
is
is
right.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan.
wow. My Dixie wrecked.